liking our video. But most of all than anything is sharing, because guess what? The algorithm can't beat a share or a follow, right? They can't beat a share. So the algorithm can say, I'm not going to show you to anybody. But if you share your video with one person who shares their video to another person, and that person shares their video and they have 50,000 followers, and it goes to say 10,000 of their followers, and then out of the 10,000, 5,000 share, and then it creates a snowball effect that the algorithm cannot stop. The algorithm cannot stop human interaction. When is the last time you have clicked on share and the algorithm has said, no, you can't share this, right? What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Fail to Success podcast. My name is Derek Harper, MBA, and welcome. Man, listen, I am so glad that you guys are here today because we got an awesome subject that we're going to be talking about. And we're talking about why working the Facebook algorithm, or working any algorithm for that matter, doesn't work. Now, I know a lot of you are like, man, what are you going to tell us that's going to make us believe that the algorithm doesn't work? Well, first of all, guys, the algorithm is a set of rules, and it's a mathematical equation. So what I'm going to do is, guys, right now I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to read off for you guys who are listening, the algorithm definition. All right, so let's take a look at the algorithm definition right now. So it says the algorithm is a set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem solving operations, especially by a computer. So basically what that means is the algorithm is a set of rules that must be followed. And it's basically a mathematical equation that has a set of rules that must be followed. So basically, if this happens, then that must happen. All right. So if you are looking at a piece of content and you look at that content more than, say, 3 times, then we need to show you more of that content. So that is basically how the algorithms set their rules. They set their rules based on human behavior. So if the algorithm is setting its rules on human behavior, why then are we trying to set our rules as human to work the algorithm, which is nothing but a set of rules that are followed based on human behavior? That is the whole argument for everything. And we're going to deep dive into this really quick right here. So I have an article that I'm going to be putting up right here on the screen right now. And then I'll be reading it off for the people who are listening to this about the Facebook algorithm. All right. It says here, and then this is from Forbes. Now, Forbes is the leading business magazine in America. So it says here, unfortunately, Facebook alters its algorithm all the time, making this a constant race between marketers and everyone else. Right now, these are the main factors that influence this algorithm and whether you appear on someone's news feed. 1, how often you interacted with this type of post. So how many times that you interact with posts, right? That is what? Let's talk about that. First of all, that is a human behavior. How many times you have interacted with this particular type of post. All right. The second thing is, how often have you and everyone else hidden this type of post? So on Facebook, you can hide posts. If you go up to the top right of the screen, I believe, once you click on someone's video and you're watching it and you're consuming their content and you scroll up, you can get more videos. If you click on the X at the very top on the right, it says, don't show this type of content. All right. They want to know that if you don't want to see that type of content, then you can just get rid of that content. All right. So if you've hidden that type of content, that is another thing that plays into the role of the algorithm. All right. The next thing is the level of engagement that the page and post has received. All right. So if your post is receiving a lot of engagement, then that helps it move up in the algorithm. All right. And then the performance of each post among users that have already viewed it. Okay, so the performance of the post from other people. And so have other people shared it? Have other people click like on it? Things like that. Okay, so these are probably some of the things that you're hearing from the other people that's on YouTube, that's on Facebook, that you're trying to find your information from about these algorithms. So these are how the algorithm works. Now, again, this is straight from Forbes, a reputable source, saying this is how Facebook alters its algorithm. Okay, so everything that I just read off of you, how often you've interacted with this type of post, how often have you and everyone else hidden this type of post, the level of engagement that the post has received, and the performance of each post among its users that have already viewed it. Those are all human actions, okay? So the algorithm is basing the human actions as the basis of how they are going to run the algorithm, their set of rules, okay? So the set of rules say this, so then we're going to show and put your post in places where people who interact with this type of posts are going to interact with it, right? So here again, that helps my argument. Not really an argument, this is fact, because these are human actions. So in order to get your stuff shown, you have to have that human interaction. So again, I pose the question to you guys, why are we trying to alter a mathematical equation, which we can't alter because we're not on that side of things? Only the people that are on that side of those things can actually alter the algorithm. Why are we trying to trick an algorithm into showing our stuff more when the algorithm relies on people and their actions for it to actually show things? So we should be putting our focus on the people and why these people need to be sharing our video, or why the people need to be liking our video. But most of all than anything is sharing, because guess what? The algorithm can't beat a share or a follow, right? They can't beat a share. So the algorithm can say, I'm not going to show you to anybody. But if you share your video with one person who shares their video to another person, and that person shares their video and they have 50,000 followers, and it goes to say 10,000 of their followers, and then out of the 10,000, 5,000 share, and then it creates a snowball effect that the algorithm cannot stop. The algorithm cannot stop human interaction. When is the last time you have clicked on share and the algorithm has said, no, you can't share this, right? It doesn't stop your human interaction. Actually, it encourages your human interaction, because that is the basis and the set of rules that it uses to actually push the things out. So again, I'm posing the question, guys, just think about it. Why are we trying to trick a mathematical equation that uses human interaction as its basis for doing what it does? We should be trying to influence the actual people. Okay, so let's deep dive a little bit further into this. Let's look at the other part of what this Forbes article says, okay? So it says, in short, the algorithms for Facebook are all about only showing people the content that's seen as relevant to them. So then it says, for marketers, they need to focus their content not on views and reach, but engagement. All right? Not for views and reach, but engagement. This even applies to paid ads. The lower your relevance score, the higher it's going to cost for you to run your ads. So we need to concentrate on engagement. So what does that mean? Engagement is what? A human action. So the question then becomes, guys, like, how do we get engagement? How do we get engagement? Well, luckily I have an answer for you guys, and I have this answer for you in just 3 steps. 3 steps, 3 things that you can do right now that's going to help your engagement, that's going to help you get more customers, and also is going to help your stuff get out to people. Now, we're not just talking about, this is for business owners, right? So this is for business owners. It'll work for people who are just wanting to be influencers. But we're talking to business owners here, because business owners, we have that problem. We don't have enough visualization. Like, we don't get enough eyes on our things when we're on social media, unless you have a huge following, right? So this is the thing that I'm going to leave with you guys today. I'm going to give you guys 3 things that you can do right away. And guess what, guys? We're going to take a look at this thing biblically, right? So let's take a look at this. So the answer comes in the Bible in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6. Okay. So Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. Okay. So the Bible tells us the formula in Genesis 3 and 6. And it says, so when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. So what are you saying there, Eric? Like, what does this mean? How does this work? What does this have to do with the videos doing better? So this was the very first time that someone in history has actually shared something. And the reason why they shared is right here in the text. So the first thing, and we're going to break this down. The first thing says, the woman saw that the tree was good for food. All right. So it was good. It was something good that she could consume. So how does that apply to us in video? We need to make something that's good that people can consume. All right. So we need to make good video. All right. We need to make good video, something that people can consume. All right. Now, again, this is the first time that someone actually shared something, and the reason why they shared this. Now, the reason why she shared this, guys, is because we all have human nature. Okay. And this is the first instance where we starting to see human nature. Okay. We are creatures of habit. And because we are creatures of habit, we continue to do the same things over and over again. That's why when you are in a relationship and you really love a person and you guys break up, you can't get over that feeling. You've been with that person over and over and over. So you want to continue. Your human nature is for you to continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. That's why we procrastinate. We really don't procrastinate. We really just have different focus, but that's another YouTube podcast or whatever. But we continue to do the same things over and over and over and over again until we break the cycle. And how do we break the cycle? We break the cycle because we don't want to continue to do the same things over and over again. And that's the only reason why we break the cycle, right? So then we continue to do, we break the cycle and we do new things and we create new habits that we continue to do over and over and over and over again, even if they're good habits. All right. So we are creatures of habit by nature. So the habit is that when we see content, we see good content that we can consume, then we like to consume that. And we also say, hey, this stuff is good. Maybe I might think about sharing it. OK. And again, we've seen this in Genesis chapter 6, where the woman saw that the food was good and it was good for food. OK, so it's good for consumption. So we need to consume. We're going to try to consume this thing. So in order to have good video, we need something that people can consume. All right. Something that relates. So the second thing, let's move on to number 2. All right. The second thing, again, it says she saw that it was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes. So that's number 2. And that's in a nutshell. Like we don't even have to really talk too much about that because that's plain and simple, pleasant to the eyes. All right. So when we have our videos, what are we doing? We're putting out videos that are pleasant to the eyes. If your video is not pleasant to the eyes, guys, listen, if your video is not pleasant to the eyes, then it will be rejected by most people. OK, it has to be pleasant to the eyes. This is when we talk about getting good resolution. All right. Resolution meaning the clarity of your video, good clarity of your video. If your video is dark, if your video is grainy, then guess what? Nobody's going to want to look at it. Nobody's going to want to watch it. All right. They're going to automatically click off of your video because it's grainy, it's dark, and we can't see who you are, and it's fuzzy, and you got all these little grain spots. OK, so we need to make sure that it's pleasing to the eye, and that comes with aesthetic. All right. That comes with having good aesthetics in your video. All right. So that was really pretty much self-explanatory. That's that. All right. So now let's move on to the third thing. OK, the third thing, it must be what she says here. And the tree was desirable to make one wise. Ooh, that's a good one. All right. So number 3 is we need to make sure that it informs and is desirable information, that it informs to help people learn something new. OK. All right. If your video is informative and it helps people learn something new, whatever the way you want to do it, if you want to do it by entertainment, if you want to do it by, humor, if you want to do it in a setting where you're actually teaching, that's great. However you want to do it, but it must relate. First, going back to number 1, it must relate to something that people can, it must be relate and it must be good to some, and that people can consume it. And then number 2, again, it has to be pleasant to the eyes. And then 3, again, inform people that they can inform people of something and they can learn something new. Okay. When it has those 3 elements, then it does what? Now look at what it says here. Look at what it says here. After she realized those three things, that the video was good, and it was good for consumption, it was pleasant to the eyes, and it was good and desirable to make her wise. She was going to learn something by eating this fruit. Okay. Then she took of the fruit. She consumed the fruit. She consumed it. That's what you want your customers to do. You want your customers to consume your content. And then she gave to her husband. So when she gave to her husband, she actually shared the same thing that she thought was good for her. She was going to share something good to him so that he would also have something good. And that, my friend, is what gets people to share your content. All right. When you put your videos out there and it's something that's good, it's pleasant to the eyes, and it informs and it helps people learn something new, then it gives people the ability to want to share. It gives them the motivation, I should say, to want to share your stuff and share it with somebody else who they feel can benefit from the things that they are benefiting from at the time. And guys, listen, there's plenty of studies about that. There's another study that was done in the 50s where they realized that people, the number one thing that makes people share is that they are able to help other people with the same situation that they may be going through. And again, that study was done in the 50s. This is pulled biblically from the very first share in the entire world, where Eve shared the fruit with Adam. Now, we know the outcome of that. It wasn't good, but here in the text, it does show us what made it desirable to actually share and to consume and to share. Hey, if you want to know more about this stuff, man, if you want to know how you can create video that's shareable, that makes people want to share it, and you don't want to worry about all the algorithm stuff and all that stuff, man, do me a favor. There's a link in the description below to a free webinar that I'm going to be giving out, and you guys click on it and you can get registered for the free webinar. And I'm going to give you the 3 secrets. Okay. So there's 3 secrets that's in this. All right. There's things that you have to do. Those are the things that you need to do, but I'm going to give you the process of those things inside of the webinar. So if you go to www.mobilevideoproducer.com and you click on the link there, then you'll go to the webinar. It's absolutely free, and we're going to give you those secrets that you need to do to fix your video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and do all the YouTube things. All right.